Good evening and welcome to the news at 10. I'm Sanibon Ngwana. I'm with Nomakabeso Ngambole. We're coming to you live from the Hospital Hill Studios in Mbabane. And for your top stories this hour, His Majesty King Eswatini III is pleased meeting the development aspirations of the nation at the heart of his working visit to the Republic of Turkey. Now, the Deputy Prime Minister has commended efforts of safe houses and institutions dedicated to caring for abandoned and orphaned children. And the National Prosecuting Authority of South Africa has not filed extradition application in the matter of two accused persons who have been arrested in the country in connection with the murder of hip-hop artist Kenan aka Forbes. Good evening and the news in detail. His Majesty King Eswatini III is pleased meeting the development aspirations of the nation at the heart of his working visit to the Republic of Turkey. Now, all working engagements have been undertaken by His Majesty, and Turkey underscores the King's policy to forge profitable partnerships for the country as it spares no effort to achieving sustainable development. His Majesty has now proceeded to Istanbul, where he has arrived accompanied by Nkosikazi Magala-Ngambule.
His Majesty King Eswatini III has kept a rigorous schedule over several days, having lots of bilateral engagements and engaging with other leaders to cultivate opportunities for Eswatini since his arrival here in the Republic of Turkey, accompanied by Nkosikazi Magala-Ngambule. A bilateral meeting with the President of Turkey, His Excellency Recep Erdogan, set the tone for a fruitful working trip for the King. During the meeting, His Majesty called for increased trade activity between Turkey and the Kingdom of Eswatini, while the President reaffirmed Turkey's commitment towards scaling up relations with Eswatini. The King then participated in the Antalya Diplomacy Forum, where over 20 heads of state and nearly 5,000 participants endorsed diplomacy as a platform for solutions to global conflicts. Nkosikazi Magala-Ngambule was hosted by the First Lady Emin Erdogan as a prime guest at the Women, Peace and Security session on the sidelines of the forum, where the First Lady stressed the importance of women's role in achieving lasting and sustainable peace worldwide. Numerous important achievements have been made, setting new milestones in bilateral cooperations between the Kingdom of Eswatini and the Republic of Turkey. His Majesty held bilateral talks aimed at increasing the scope of cooperation between Eswatini and two states, Russia and Serbia. The King meeting with Russia's top diplomat, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who invited Eswatini to the Russian elections later this month. The King scaled up his diplomatic crusade with another high-level bilateral meeting, this time with the Minister of Foreign Affairs in the Republic of Serbia. Groundbreaking agreements setting the tone for robust cooperation in the fields of education and trade have been sealed. The Kingdom has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Turkish Marif Foundation. The memorandum of understanding establishes a framework under which the two parties will establish collaborative activities in education and training, with the foundation expressing an interest to build internationally recognized schools from preschool to institution of higher learning level. The Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority has also entered into a memorandum of understanding with the Foreign Economic Board of Turkey for the establishment of the Turkey Kingdom of Eswatini Business Council, which seeks to promote trade between the two countries. His Majesty has also held fruitful talks with delegations from the Turkish Red Crescent and the Turkish Coordination and Cooperation Agency. Now, part of His Majesty's mandate here in Turkey is to keep Eswatini competitive on the global stage. And a lot of ground has been covered in as far as repositioning the Kingdom's brand as a preferred destination hub for the Turkey business community. Now, His Majesty the King has proceeded to Istanbul, where he is accompanied by Nkosikazi Magala-Ngambule. And even here in Istanbul, the King is expected to continue with his working program. This is a report by Sandile Makanya reporting with Zoluma Sugu from Istanbul in the Republic of Turkey.
Coming back home, the Deputy Prime Minister, Tosile Lala, has commended efforts of safe houses and institutions dedicated to caring for abandoned and orphaned children. Now, Lala lauded these establishments for their commitment to providing a safe haven and nurturing environment for vulnerable children. Now, Lala affirmed the government's support for such initiatives, expressing readiness to extend assistance, particularly in facilitating the procurement of birth certificates for these children. DPM was speaking when touring a number of these establishments.
The Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Thuli Dladla, embarked on a series of visits to various establishments and care points dedicated to raising orphaned children.
Ngicale Project Canaan, a huge project. Lengithithe mangihleli ngedwa ngathi uma bangahamba labantu sidayithini lendzawo.
The Deputy Prime Minister expressed her gratitude for the invaluable role these establishments play in supporting orphaned children. She highlighted the significance of the projects like Project Canaan, which provides care for newborns aged 0 to 2 years. One poignant aspect of her visit was the revelation of stories concerning abused girl children who have found refuge in certain safe houses. The Deputy Prime Minister expressed shock at hearing these accounts. Constance Simelane, the former first female Deputy Prime Minister in Eswatini, says the DPM's visit means a lot and they were able to share their challenges. The Deputy Prime Minister requests Eswatini to report abuse by calling the toll-free number 116. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Manzini Luandle.
The House of Assembly's Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Portfolio Committee has called upon Minister for Justice, Honorable Prince Melane, to address ongoing concerns with the judiciary. Members of Parliament pressed the Minister to clarify the extent of his authority in resolving these issues during his presentation of the Ministry's performance report for the year 2023-2024.
Members of the House of Assembly's Portfolio Committee of the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs have voiced grave concerns regarding irregularities unfolding within the judiciary. Several parliamentarians highlighted what they perceive as the misallocation of resources, particularly citing the government's deployment of rented vehicles for transporting school children. The scrutiny intensified as members of Parliament questioned the Minister for Justice, the Honourable Prince Melane, on his apparent lack of intervention in addressing these critical issues.
Because phela ijudicial ngabe uyayikhipha uyibeka lapha ithi sebentele ke ithi pasisele yende njengoba yenda la event ngushiso yini ke minister uvakele minister lehlangana wathi lokho bakwendini lo angathi lutho even today you compare to that awathi lutho but you are heading the minutes. Why are we here? Why today are you asking us to pass that budget for that ministry? Recently ngithole ukuthi kunemoto lentirenthawo khona le judicial but as we speak tipakile timele ukuthi umntwana aphume esikolweni timthathe tombeke ekhaya tibile tiyopaka werep ngubani lo controller letimoto le Ministry of Judicial uma ngayetha kanjani cela sibambise intiko bahlonishwa bahlonishwa siyabona akuhambi kahle lelitiko akuhambi kahle ngeke sigeke lo.
In response, The minister, Honorable Prince Simelane, underscored the constitutional independence of the judiciary, asserting that his hands are tied in matters pertaining to its operations. He emphasized that while he acknowledges the concerns raised, his ability to intervene directly is constrained by legal frameworks that safeguard the judiciary autonomy.
Namaste ngoba kunye cha nami solo ngabamba lenfulo ngive emaphepheni kwekuthi ukuthi ngisho munye la vene even na minister nje bamba nofanele abangenangena phathaphathe nje tinkunyanyanyana ku-independent kwale ngethemba siyakwati sonke lokho.
Minister Simelane expressed his earnest desire for collaboration with parliamentarians to address the challenges facing the judiciary. He extended an invitation for collective action, suggesting that if there were avenues for direct engagement and accountability, he would readily participate in seeking solutions. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Parliament.
Now, on the Nkwe initiative, government has sprung into action to try and resolve the problems that engulf the University of Eswatini, resulting to turbulent operations at the institution. This has been said by the Minister of Education and Training, Honorable Owen Nxumalo, when pleading with Portfolio Committee on the Ministry of Education and the House of Assembly to pass the ministry's budget. The Portfolio Committee also debated the end-of-the-year performance report of the ministry for the year 2023-2024. Eswatini TV's Mbonga Dube has more on that story.
The Minister of Education, Honorable Owen Nxumalo, pleaded with the Portfolio Committee on the Ministry of Education to pass the ministry's budget allocation for the year 2024-2025, which is about 4,138 million emalangeni, for the ministry to forge ahead with its programs, which include the conversion of temporary teachers into permanent ones, the strengthening of vocational skills training in the country, and the continuous implementation of the free primary education. The members of the committee then debated the ministry's performance report and budget.
Free free primary noma free stationary.
These institutions, ikakhulu university, they are given subventions by the government. Ingabe the subventions are figure to what level kusita these institutions?
Letikolo lenitsini nekufundza khona tiphindze tinokwe ngibani titawunakwa tinkhundla na.
Benginembono ukuthi kuya ngami njengelilunga lasemathanjeni ngabe vele le free education seyafakwa nala high school.
Due to time constraints, the minister orally responded to some of the committee members' questions and submissions and promised to provide written responses to all concerns raised on a date to be determined by the Portfolio Committee chairman.
Mhlonishwa chairperson, sesikhona schedule sesisakhile besitawuhamba se-university siyowenda i-assessment lokushoko lokutawubuketa tonke letinkinga lababhekene nato but abese basithulele ama-findings ngalesibili nje cabinet labe ngithula ama-terms of reference ngilithula nalibandla letintshontshovu lelitawuvele liye khona lapha e-uniswa nalethi ndzaba tema-delayed allowances siyayikhuluma nemlingano wami leyo problem leyo singayisotha kanjani.
Reporting Mbonga Dube, Lobamba.
The shortage of financial resources is a hindrance to the full decentralization of the Ministry of Agriculture's programs. These were the sentiments of the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Mandla Chauke, when pleading with the House of Assembly Portfolio Committee on Agriculture to pass the budget allocation for the ministry. The Honorable Minister was delivering his preamble to the budget and performance report for the year 2023-2024.
The Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Mandla Chauke, delivered his preamble to the end-of-year performance report for 2023-2024 and budget debate for his ministry for the year 2024-2025. The minister mentioned that the ministry's programs need to be implemented swiftly in the spirit of Nkwe, as commanded by His Majesty King Mswati III at Sibaya, so as to ensure that the country attains food security and create employment opportunities in the agriculture sector.
For this phase, which is the actual construction of the dam and resettlements, an amount of 659 million 809,000 is allocated. LUCIP 2 is at irrigation infrastructure development stage. An amount of 417,324,000 has been allocated to complete the work so that Eswatini can enjoy the benefits from this initiative. Other capital projects, Mr. Chairman, account for the balance of 101,981,000 allocated to the ministry.
The committee then debated the ministry's budget and performance report.
The subsidy ingakwenda lokho ukuthi bakhuthathe ukuthi bangene kuwe ngoba ngaphakathi itiko liyayibukela nje ngetigaba ukuthi ingentiwa kanjani ukuze abantu babe motivated ukuthi balime.
Siyethemba minister kule budget loyilethile ikhona isubsidy ukuthi nangabe le dipping chemical seyiphelile uyicelele ukuthi iyawuthengwa ngemali lengaka lama contract leni wanikawo akhe lamadamu anilanzeleli bayadoja kakhulu lamadamu lamasha ehlulwa nangale siwakhazito
yabona nasingasebenza leyo check mina masungakhulu ngambe nekhaya nangathola ukuthi sincoba nenze.
At the time of compiling this report, the Portfolio Committee was still debating and the minister was yet to respond. Reporting, Mbonga Dube, Lobamba.
The Minister of Education and Training, Honorable Owen Ngumalo, warns head teachers to desist from the habit of expelling learners who owe school fees. Now, the minister says these may have a negative bearing on the lives of the learners, yet the agreement of paying of school fees lies between parents and the schools and not learners. The minister was speaking during a press conference in the ministry's office.
The Minister of Education and Training wishes to bring it to the attention of these head teachers that expelling learners due to owing school fees is against the legal frameworks guiding education and training in the country, namely the Constitution of the Kingdom of Eswatini, the Education Sector Policy 2018, Free Primary Education Act 2010. The Minister wishes to remind head teachers that a school enters into an agreement with the parent, guardian of each learner and not with the learner. Therefore, it is not conceivable why learners should suffer the consequences when the parent and the school breach the agreement. The state-funded primary education came about through the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. It is implemented through the Act of Parliament, and the Act stipulates clearly how top-up fees are to be charged in schools. To this end, head teachers are not supposed to charge top-up fees at this level without an approval from the Minister of Education and Training. The OVC grant is administered under the Office of the Deputy Prime Minister, and it is afforded to learners who are destitute and have no one to cater for their school fees. It is therefore inconceivable that head teachers will expel these learners for fees. These learners are also not supposed to be charged top-up fees and or deposit during admission and registration. Moreover, the ministry has noted an unbecoming behavior from head teachers who now stigmatize and discriminate against orphaned and vulnerable children to the extent that they deny them admission in their schools. The Ministry of Education and Training, through the established structure from the regional education offices and inspectorate, will be deployed to closely monitor the situation, and the ministry will not hesitate to take disciplinary measures against head teachers found to be involved in this act.
Coming in from the High Court, the National Prosecuting Authority of South Africa has not filed the extradition application in the matter of two accused persons who have been arrested in the country in connection with the murder of hip-hop artist Kenan Forbes, popularly known as AKA. It is for this reason that the Director of Public Prosecutions, represented by Principal Crown Counsel Mcebo Nxumalo, requested that the matter should be postponed to the 12th of this month. The accused persons are Siyabonga Kezani Ndimande and Malusi Dave Ndimande.
The two accused persons were arrested in Nkwalini Zone 4 in Mahwalala. They were arrested on February 24th and made their first court appearance on the 26th of February. The two accused persons were wanted together with Lindokuhle Mhlaliseni Ndimande by the South African police. Lindokuhle was later arrested in South Africa. It is for this reason that the Director of Public Prosecutions, Principal Crown Counsel Mcebo Nxumalo, applied that this provision of arrest should be withdrawn. He also made an application regarding 4 cell phones that were found in possession of the accused persons.
Once the documents, the formal documents for extradition has been received, the Director of Public Prosecution in Swaziland will make a substantive application for the extradition of the respondents back to their country that were found in the possession of the respondent. They can be submitted to the requesting state even before the extradition application has been finalized. So we'll be making submission on that.
The accused person's legal representative, lawyer Sivesonke Ngwenya, had no problem in postponing the matter. However, he raises concerns regarding the investigation officer's affidavit on 4 cell phones that were found in possession of the suspects.
Therefore, my lord, as we are all aware that this is a sensitive matter, it would be risky for us to proceed and without having touched base or liaised or even seen the face of the affidavit, my lord. In that event, my lord, my humbly make an application that the issue of the detention be deferred to the next remand, which is the 12th day of March 2024. I am of the firm belief that there will be no prejudice that will be suffered by the Crown for this postponement, my lord, on this aspect and the issue of the exhibits, my lord.
Another extradition matter that was attended by the court is that of Mfanengos Magagula of Umliba. He is wanted in South Africa to answer to charges of murdering Sandile Matebula at Kanyamazane in South Africa. He also faces a charge of attempted murder as well as defeating the ends of justice that, after committing the offense, he escaped from South Africa to Eswatini. His case was also postponed to the 12th of this month. He is represented by lawyer Sivesonke Ngwenya. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, Magistrate Court, Manzini.
Now, staying with court matters, the Industrial Court of Eswatini has interdicted the University of Eswatini workers unionized under the Association of Lecturers and Academic Administrative Personnel ALAP and the National Workers Union in Eswatini High Institutions NAWUSHI from participating in the work stoppage that commenced on the 26th of February 2024. Now, according to an order issued by Industrial Court of Eswatini Judge Abande Lamini, the unionized workers under the ALAP and NAWUSHI are also interdicted from calling upon the resignation of the management of the university and or taking any action in furtherance of this demand without following the laid down procedure in terms of the recognition agreement of the parties. Now, the judge also issued an order directing the Eswatini Royal Police to maintain peace and order at the University of Eswatini and ensure that the orders of this court are executed. Now, the court made no order as to cost. Moving right along with the news, we take a look at financial indicators to give us a sense of how markets fared today in our financial report.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Welcome back. In the world of sports, Minister for Sports Honorable Bongani Nzima says the ministry has spent over 150,000 malangeni as a token of appreciation to athletes from 5 sporting codes who represented the country well in international competitions in the year 2023. The minister said this when reporting about his ministry's performance to its portfolio committee in the House of Assembly on Monday.
On Monday, the Minister for Sports, Honorable Bongani Nzima, was reporting on the ministry's performance for the year 2023-2024 to the Portfolio Committee of the Ministry of Sports in Parliament, where it was reported that the ministry spent over 150,000 emarangeni as a token of appreciation to 4 sporting corps that managed to get medals from international competitions. The associations are swimming, taekwondo, darts and Special Olympics, who came home with different medals included gold, silver and bronze. The minister went on to report on the successful completion of the 3rd phase of the Somhloro National Stadium rehabilitation, where the ministry spent an amount of 15 million emarangeni. Other successful project that conducted by the ministry was the host of the Region 5 Sports Awards and the host of the National Sports Disability Day. The minister concluded touching on the issue of sports policy that the ministry deliberated on during the course of 2023 that aimed at pushing the sports movement in the country to finally become independent, where at some point associations can at some point operate fully professional. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera with Temingos Mavimera in Parliament.
The Eswatini School Sports Association President Zakele Mieni says this year they will conduct a talent search in different schools to assist pupils identify their preferable sporting codes. Mieni says the current situation sees children being pushed to practice football or athletics while they could excel in other sporting codes.
Initially, programs so that we don't find bantwana.
Eswatini School Sports Association President Zakele Mieni says the association is planning to have a talent search in the long run that will see each child getting a chance to play a sporting code of his or her choice. Mieni says the current situation sees all kids being ushered in to play football or athletics while they could excel in other sporting codes.
Elite stage.
This year, the School Sports Association is already underway in terms of preparations of games such as football, basketball, volleyball and netball. The total of 5 sporting codes will be played this year. If all goes accordingly, they are kicking off things this month, with athletics being the first on the calendar.
We should be starting on the athletics competitions on this week, and then football will be starting on the games at 11 to 15 March.
In terms of how the country is standing compared to other countries in the region, Mieni says that all stakeholders need to pull in one direction, the stakeholders being schools, parents and different sponsors.
Well, with the collection of all those institutions, with all those people coming together, I'm sure we can find a diamond even within our country.
Now, with those sports news, we have reached the home stretch of the news bulletin at 10 at Eswatini TV. But before we go, here's a quick reminder of news-making headlines tonight. His Majesty King Eswatini III is placed meeting the development aspirations of the nation at the heart of his working visit to the Republic of Turkey. Deputy Prime Minister has commended efforts of safe houses and institutions dedicated to caring for abandoned and orphaned children. And the National Prosecuting Authority of South Africa has not filed the extradition application in the matter of 2 accused persons who have been arrested in the country in connection with the murder of hip-hop artist Kenan Forbes, popularly known as AKA. Right, that's all we had for you from the news desk. We shall now cross over to the Weather Center for a detailed weather report from us and the rest of the team at Eswatini TV. For now, it's good night and God bless.